All right, and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Bahamut, one of your hosts. With me is Cat Peach, and this is our big heroic division matchup between OSD and Amazing. Cat Peach, how are you doing? Are you ready for this?
I am so pumped. I actually can't even describe. This is my first, I think, heroic division game to cast, and so I am so excited to see how these teams end up matching up tonight. I hope we get a really good show, especially after those last two matches as well. Those are great times, and we're gonna hopefully have some even greater times.
I am so excited about this. And what is this? Robin Bird, get out of here. We do not have a raffle tonight. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Just starting stuff in here. Wishful thinking.
It's a raffle for your heart, actually.
There you go. Now, before we get into this, let's find out how we got to Towers of Doom. The coin flip was actually won by Amazing. They went ahead and banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen. OSD then took out Sky Temple, map 1, chosen by Amazing, will be Towers of Doom. And then game number 2 is going to be Volskaya Foundry. So we've got some very, very juicy maps on our hands here. Genji being banned out, Maya being banned out. Do we get the Stukov start, or do we get the Diablo?
Ooh, Diablo's been a pretty hot pick so far this evening. Wouldn't be surprised if we kept seeing that. I would be surprised, or I would assume that whoever gets Diablo first pick ends up getting Stukov second, but I might be wrong. We saw a 2 in a row to Zebo last time around, and I will be proven wrong. First pick to Haka on the side of OSD.
I really like this. I think the global aspect of this is a huge tool for the members of Order of the Sleeping Dragon, and I think starting with that is a great aspect, and the flank potential, the macro play that you get, especially on Towers of Doom being a macro heavy map. Yo, Rag, thank you for the 58 bits.
Sure, Bahamut won Baharit.
Sorry, he wants to be. He's just like, I just want to be number 1. So he tips, so he's 101, so he can be number 1, so he can be noticed, because that's what they were saying in chat. But
Senpai noticed you.
Exactly. I mean, Murda, you made it. I only noticed number 1 cheers in my channel only. That's what Murda said, and well, that's what happens. But all right, let's get back into this draft. In this 1-2, before we go into the ban phase, or at least this is the first 2 that they'll get before the ban phase. Do you just pick up that strong tank healer composition?
I mean, I think that's always a really safe bet. Again, and this is something we talk about a lot, not wanting to give away too much in those first couple of picks. So the Diablo, pretty generic at this point. The Junkrat is a very interesting one that I was not expecting. Being able to launch grenades over onto those towers, making it really hard for someone to pick those up is super valuable on Towers of Doom. And so that is a great pickup, I think, in the 1-2, even though it's a little bit not necessarily standard. No,
I like the Junkrat for the poke and the Diablo for the engage, but I just really got to quickly... Jesus Christ. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. Murda, thank you for the bits. Swoop, thank you for the bits. Bay State, thank you for the bits. And Ragnarok, thank you for the bits. Thank you guys so much for the support tonight. You guys, you think, and it keeps going. Thank you, Rag. But I really like
bits. The audience loves you.
The bits. But I like the Junkrat for the poke. The displacement's really, really powerful. The Stukov with the Jaina, I think, is a phenomenal start. Poke damage from the Jaina as well. The silence and then the combos you can run with that are phenomenal. And Bay State, thank you once again, as well as Rag. Thank you for the bid wars that we're currently having.
Everyone wants to be first place in your stream and in your heart, Bahamut.
Everyone's always first place. Like, you don't have to bid for my heart. I'm not gonna stop you though.
Getting back to the draft, the Stukov Jaina is phenomenal. I can't explain how much I love that pickup. When you're able to silence someone with Stukov and then have Jaina ready behind you, being able to get the Frostbolt in, getting ready to land that Blizzard on whoever is in your silence, that just feels so good. And it chunks out people really, really well. And so that combination is super fantastic. Especially love it with the Dahaka, where he can tongue an enemy member into that silence if needed. So we're going to have to see how many of those they can land.
And they're going to go ahead and ban out the Garrosh at this time. I think the choke onto that hero is great for them. It combos well into the Stukov. You get the toss onto the silence. Jaina then just combos on top of you. Dahaka gets the pull on the silence, as you noted as well. The other thing I want to note too is that I believe if you silence Junkrat, or even the Riptire, it actually cancels it out. So I do think that's a really good aspect, because it happened to me a couple times, and I want to say I saw it in someone's chat as well. But
so
it's
landing the silence on Junkrat while the tire is already out,
or even the tire itself will cancel it. Because if you hit Junkrat and you, like, for example, if you're Diablo and you Apocalypse a Junkrat during the Riptire being out, it will cancel Riptire. And then, so from my understanding, you can also silence the Riptire, which will also end it, or you can silence Junkrat. So I like that Stukov for that, for those, that kind of counterplay a little bit. But we're going to have the Li Ming banned out on the side of Order of the Sleeping Dragon. The poke damage, I think, is phenomenal. The combos that you can run with the Diablo, and then they could even still go into like a... just the resets from Li Ming. I was going to say double reset composition, but no, they don't have the room for that in their draft. They still need a healer. They still need a solo laner, and they're going to need some sort of follow-up damage as well. They're going to need some burst. Junkrat has some sustained damage, but they're going to need something to burst on top of the Diablo as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of which support at this point Amazing might want to pick up. I think Malfurion's always a safe bet with the ability to put that growth under someone trying to capture those towers. Also a general good tool for if they're trying to land that Riptire to hold enemy team members in place. I was going to say I wouldn't mind the Deckard Cain, but we have a little bit to talk about here. We get Alex Straza and we get a Zeratul.
Alex Straza, I like for the point control in this. She has the dragon form like 9 times out of 10 when I'm playing with people, they're just like, dragon form, back off. And so it's one of those things, like, it's, you pop that and it's immediately like the bouncer at the front door. It's just like, do you want to come in here or do you want to fight this giant dragon woman? And then have Zeratul just like pop in behind you. I mean, it's, I gotta say, so far the draft for Amazing here, I think is shaping out really, really strong. They've got a lot of good tools, and it's just I don't know. It feels like I don't know what's gonna kind of put it together. I feel like their solo laner might kind of answer that. But these last 2 picks on the side of OSD, what do you think they go into? They're gonna need a main tank and probably some sort of damage to follow up with the Jaina to work with her, maybe a Phoenix.
Yeah, I would like to see the ETC pick up here, but we're going to get the Muradin. Interesting. I do like the Thrall being able to give a bit more of a frontline protection for Stukov and Jaina, along with the Muradin and the Dahaka. Also being able to root members, maybe, potentially Zeratul, get him locked down so he can't escape before the rest of the team members can single him out. The Zeratul... Yeah, going back to Amazing, like you said, something to put a bow on this composition, because there's a bigger picture that I don't see. There's a couple bits and pieces, like the Zeratul to be able to possibly capitalize on Stukov being, stationary during the silence period and making him punished for that. Alex Straza, as you said, point control, Junkrat for the poke, but it's not a full picture yet. And so I was hoping that maybe with this last pick, it would be something really snap picked for Amazing to show that they absolutely knew what they had going into it. But it looks like they're questioning running it down to the wire. And it's going to be Leoric, that solo laner.
It makes sense. Like, I was just like... Are they going to go into Leoric? Because it is the Dahaka. And so I was like toying with it in my head. And I'm like, well, you've got a Dahaka. You've got a global. Do you try and pick up something to go into that Dahaka? What do you take into that to kind of respond to the global? Do you go into Falstead? That matchup might not be too easy in that situation. The damage would be nice. The boss control with the Gust would be very beneficial for the team. It would actually be the only boss control, technically discounting Junkrat or Diablo in the situation. But I got to say, overall, I think this is a well-rounded draft from both teams. It's really going to be, I think the real, I wouldn't say the real game, but the big plays are going to be starting at the 10 level. That's where I think, based on what they're going to be taking, because I kind of like the idea of a playmaker here.
Yeah, I think both teams, once they come to that I don't want to say halfway point, but that level 10 online, we're going to see things explode. And so I'm sort of going to think that maybe both teams played it extraordinarily safe until that point, and then saying, who's got the bigger knife in this fight at this point. On the side of OSD, being able to have Thrall with, the potential of Earthquake to, give a bit slow, gives Jaina easier time to aim. is going to be very dangerous, but you also can't discount Void Prison. And you can't discount Entomb, and you can't discount, as we keep talking about, the Alexstrasza picks. So we're going to have to see how that plays out in the long run.
But we'll find out here as we have OSD on the left with Trinth going to be on the Stukov, Reading going to be on the Muradin, Silent Shoe going to be on that Jaina, Woven going to be playing the Thrall, and Corgi Booty rounding it out on the Dahaka.
And on the red side, we have amazing Nukes for Kids playing Diablo, Kaizen on Leoric, Lasai on Junkrat, HZE on Zeratul, and Litinex, bringing it up on Alexstrasza.
Are you able to lock with Tamia with either O or C?
That is a good question, and I don't believe I am.
Oh, all right.
Which is, it's fine.
Listen,
I'm just gonna blame Observer Tools. It's cool. We got through this far. We can get through it again.
I was hoping. All right, but let's go ahead and get into this as we have Leoric in that top lane going to be soloing against that Dahaka, and it will be HZE in that bottom lane. And as we were loading in, I was just thinking of a couple of the combinations here, and I was like, you know, you can get a nice Entomb into the Apocalypse, and even then you also have the Void Prison into the Apocalypse as well. So there's a lot of follow-up here on this, or at least a lot of setup on the side of Amazing. I'm just curious to see how they're going to be able to follow it up and what kind of damage they're going to be doing here, as it looks like Hazen going to be pushing in Corgi Booty in top lane. Not a whole lot, but definitely the Spectral Leech is going to be doing quite a bit of damage into the beefier Dahaka body that dinosaur is.
Yeah, we're going to have to, you know, wait to see how Dahaka ends up gathering that essence. Earlier on, not as much of an impact, but later on in the game, he'll definitely be able to push in a bit more dangerously, I will say. By the way, just kidding, I totally can lock onto you. Heck yes.
There we go.
Great. Both teams grabbing their siege camps. Going to cancel each other out. Both Zappers going to meet face-to-face in the bottom lane. And we are, you know, as we talked about, both teams are playing it extraordinarily safe, grabbing whatever potential advantages they will have on this map. Corgi Booty having a little bit of a rough time. Gonna back up a bit. But I like that both teams are just not trying to rush this too soon. They're trying to wait for that opportune time to really go in, maybe capitalize on their team's advantages. Corgi Booty, yet again, this Leoric matchup not doing so well. His picked up talent of enhanced agility going to help him with the being able to go into the bush, maybe get away from that Leoric's grasp a bit sooner.
Yeah, they do have the mobility, which is going to be big on this map. There are a lot of bushes to get that buff throughout the lanes, and also just making those rotations. It being just a very good Dahaka map in that fact, as well as we are going to be seeing the Junkrat being picked off here, and that will be first kill of the game going over to Order of the Sleeping Dragon, as it looks like top lane Corgi Booty still going to be pushed in a little bit here. Not saying losing the lane, because going to be able to get the clear fairly easily. Doesn't need to push too far out, as HCE going to be scouting out, making sure no one else is setting up for this. But at this point, they're going to probably leave their Dahaka in the top left. Leoric should be taking the top right, but I would expect them to brawl over this bottom altar here. But everyone kind of spread out, leaving this pretty open.
Yeah, Dahaka's going to be able to burrow in here, which is going to give Order of the Sleeping Dragons a bit of an advantage once he's able to do so. Leoric grabbing top right, and both teams simply just posturing, know that they don't have their full teams available for this engage right now, trying to see who's going to crack first and overextend before the other. Litinex with the Dragon Queen pop. Jaina ends up going down around the other side of the wall, and the members of OSD starting to back up as the final tower is taken. Nukes for Kids saying, no, Raiden, you're not going to go away just yet. But Muradin, being the beefy boy he is, able to leap on out of there just fine.
Yeah, not going to be getting that kill they're looking for. And actually, that was really great. Junkrat trying to poke onto the altar at that time, trying to get the delay, but it just didn't hit them at the right time. And also Diablo just getting stalled out there was a great play. So it is going to be 8 shots in favor for the members of Order of the Sleeping Dragon, but they will be taking 4 damage themselves. So at this point, it's back to laning. We're going to be waiting for the next altar phase, which will be that singular one in the bottom. Look for that to be a big brawl. The race to 10, it's the race to 10 at this point, as Kaizen going to be pulled in by Corgi Booty. Going to be trying to get some auto attack damage onto them, but still playing around that low health mark in this top lane.
OSD getting a little bit of push again with that bottom siege camp. Those camps are extraordinarily important on this map, being able to give your minion wave a little bit of extra damage, especially if you can escort an in. You see the members of Amazing try to respond to that. Going in deep, trying to see if they can take out the Jaina, and they do! Now returning their focus back onto those zappers to make sure that they don't get too far in this bottom lane.
And that's the other thing that Dahaka actually falling into that top lane. I do apologize for missing that. But the other thing too to note really quickly is that bottom lane is probably one of the best lanes to hold over on this map. And the reason for that is one, this bottom altar here. If you hold over the bell tower, the rotation from the enemy team has to come from a longer direction, as Ridian going to be taking quite a bit of damage at this time, and it looks like they actually get the knockback from the Junkrat, and that will be the Muradin kill that they are looking for, as Dahaka is going to be burrowing down in a really bad spot. The Diablo is going to get the Shadow Charge out. Nexus is going to be falling so low. That will be the Alex Draza being counter-killed, as it looks like they start to chase these members out. They're all going to get the double root. They have the Diablo and Nukes for Kids just trying to delay this out as best they can, and that will be the Diablo falling. No souls sitting at 94. Lior going to get the Wraith Walk out, as this will be Trinth grabbing the altar and getting 4 shots in favor for Order of the Sleeping Dragon.
I was convinced that Corgi Booty was going to desperately pay for rush stalking into where they did. But OSD able to turn that fight around. They were backed up a bit for a while, but able to capitalize, able to get a couple kills on their side and the tower. That is you could ask for more in that fight, but given the situation, I think that was a glorious win on their part. And now they're going to be able to keep pushing in this bottom lane. And again, you just talked about the importance of controlling. That is exactly what they needed after they lost those zappers to be able to do that. Corgi Booty getting harassed here in top. He's going to have to be careful, given that Kaizen was able to win that 1v1 before. So we're probably going to start seeing Dahaka maybe not as aggressively push that top lane. However, both teams so close to level 10, and I'm so excited to see things go off Bahamut.
10 is actually going to be happening, as the Entomb will be coming down at this time. Corgi Booty going to be trapped inside of it. Zeratul going to blink in, and that is going to be the Dinosaur making it out. Adaptation going to be... Excuse me, not adaptation. That was the isolation onto the Zeratul, and it looks like Corgi Booty going to be poked here by the Junkrat, and with a little bit of health, it will be falling. The overpower onto the Muradin at this time. Gonna have the Dwarf Toss out. Gonna get the healing from the Stukov, but no kill for the members of Amazing, as this will be a double altar face popping at this time. And it looks like with that kill onto Dahaka, they might have to give this over as... Excuse me, actually... Yeah, OSD, they're going to go ahead and just try and nullify a couple shots and take down this tower, but that actually pulls the rotation out from the members of Amazing, as they want to maybe punish it.
Yeah, that was... So Dahaka will be able to burrow to one of those towers pretty quickly, now that he has respawned. We're going to have to see if one of these teams is going to want to poke the other. I'm going to guess that on the side of Amazing, we might see the dragon come out, possibly try to make sure that OSD doesn't get this, but in fact they're able to. Both teams going to rotate down to mid and see if we can make some sparks fly. Nukes for Kids goes in on Trent and able to get him dead as soon as this team fight starts. Zeratul ends up falling quickly behind. Nukes for Kids looking in a little bit of trouble, trying to make something happen, but just as the Dragon Queen comes out, goes down.
And that actually is going to be Wolven getting actually the stall, but that will be Lasai getting some poke damage out. Wraithwalk going to be happening from Krazen. Not going to be getting the skeletal swing onto the Jaina that they're looking for, that slow. So Jaina makes it out alive with a little bit of health. Silent Shoe going to have to hearth at this time, but Amazing turning that, getting a kill there, and starting to create some pressure their own. I wouldn't be too surprised to see them grab the siege camp, pressure that into the bottom, and that was the thing I was saying with bottom lane holding that over. It makes these rotations into these bottom altars a lot harder. Plus you can feed the sappers in and get points or damage onto the enemy core yourself, but it looks like at this time they are going to be invading. There is going to be the Entomb coming out from the Leoric, and there is the silence actually allowing them to just kind of fight over this, but I think it went over in favor for the members of Amazing. Stun going to be going out onto the Diablo, and that will be the kill. No souls available, so that is not going to be the instant revive, and I'm not... well, I was going to say, ooh, the altar might be up soon, but no, it's not going to be timing out. Exactly. It's up soon, but... It's up soon, but Diablo will be back in time.
Yeah. Nukes for Kids, Diablo, currently sitting at 14 souls, it looks like. Jaina, on the other hand, pretty far along on her quest for Frostbite. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. We have Muradin almost done with his Stormbolt quest as well. And once you start completing those quests, your team gets scarier and scarier. So looking forward to see how quickly Order of the Sleeping Dragon can wrap those up.
And actually, with that, they go ahead, they grab the bottom altar, they grab the camp and the 5 shots, putting the core of Amazing down to 19 core health. They're looking to feed in these next 3 pumpkin sappers, and at this time, it looks like they might be able to do it. And really quickly, shout out to Crow Heroes. Thank you for the host of 15 viewers. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. This is game number 1 between Order of the Sleeping Dragon and Amazing for the heroic division of the Nexus Gaming Series, as it looks like they will not be able to get these pumpkin sappers in, but Woven might get caught out, as there is going to be the Wind Fury. No shadow charge to capitalize on that.
Great defense here by Amazing. Woven getting a bit low, trying to get out, but he gets caught by the Entomb. Sundering does come out, but so does the Void Prison and the APOC coming up below that, stunning the members of Order of the Sleeping Dragon.
And with that, oh, Jaina is actually going to be able to get the kill. They trade 2 for 1 at this time, but they are getting so low. There is going to be Radiant actually getting the kill onto the Zeratul, so 2 for 2 trade. Capeach, what?
Golly, it's heating up in here. Corgi Booty was looking, hopefully, I think, to secure an additional kill in that situation. Did end up missing the tongue on the Alex Straza in that case, so they're just going to back up. They've already secured that bottom bell tower, and so that is a great advantage for them to have going into a 3 shrine phase, or 3 altar phase here on Towers of Doom. Both teams still pretty equal in levels. All members going to be up. So we're gonna have to see if Amazing can make a statement after the results of that last team fight.
Now everyone is back up and in position. It looks like OSD is kind of approaching this. They're looking for the left side altar. Corgi Booty gonna be trying to channel that, as it looks like we do have the Murden in the bottom lane. Gonna go ahead and channel that down there. So they're not going to have they're going to have to rotate their main tank all the way up here, as Amazing will be pressuring this. Now they only are going to be taking 3 damage on the side of OSD, but they took 5 core damage on the side of Amazing here, as Capeach, they're going in on this fight.
Entomb comes out, but Kaizen's the one that ends up getting picked off in this scenario. Dragon Queen also comes out, able to make sure Junkrat sticks around for them to make his health bar 0. 3 kills on the side of OSD.
3 kills, 10 shots from the altars. Alex Straza falling as I pan down here to look at the pumpkin sappers working their way in. That'll be 3 shots from the pumpkin sappers, putting them at 6 core health, and then another 4 from the boss. They're going to be sitting at 2 core health after this, and it's getting dire for the members of Amazing here. And this is Towers of Doom. This is probably one of the most rubber band maps in the game, because I've seen teams come back from 1 core health into 29. We're gonna have to see how Amazing comes back and brings this. They need to get 16 first, and then let's see what they're able to do after that.
It definitely is a rubber band, like you said, but it's definitely not easy. It's going to be an uphill battle for the rest of this match.
Oh,
Diablo ends up getting rooted, silenced, and taken down right before this altar phase begins. That's 30 seconds to that Diablo. That gives OSD the power to just get their pick of what they want to do on the map.
Well, if they feed in these 3 pumpkin sappers, that'll be it. Diablo came through that center part, saw the thrall, and then continued to rotate. I don't know. I was so confused by that. I'm just like, what is? Oh no. But they got that pick, and with that, there is no Diablo, as you noted, for the next 10 seconds here. They might be able to feed these sappers in. They're going to try their best on the side. Oh, the Void Prison. And then we have the Riptire out, and as you can see, the Sunder comes out. That does ruin, or does stop the Riptire at this time. 1 shot going to be going over. Apocalypse going to be happening as well. 2 going to be going over as well. No, just the 1 went over. My apologies, as it looks like we have 1 sapper still available. Zeratul are going to be falling at this time. 1 sapper will be cleared out by Lasai, but this is a double altar phase starting in the next 9 seconds, and there is 1 member dead for Amazing. How do they defend this, Capeach?
Wow, literally hanging on a thread. They're going to have to sit back, wait for Zeratul to come back, and at least try to poke as much as they can without engaging too much. But with the split and Corgi Booty on bottom, they simply can't defend both, and that is GG's on the side of Order of the Sleeping Dragon.
I timed it out. She said it. Yeah, there we go. That's my little thing. Like that's my little that's my little just like
that's your
horseshoe.
Flare. That's
there you go. That's the flare. Yeah, I'm like just trying to nail that one little timing. But let's go ahead and get into this draft really quickly. Just to update you guys, if you missed it at the start of the game number 1. Coin flip was won by Amazing. They banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen. Sky Temple was then banned out by Order of the Sleeping Dragon. First match was Towers of Doom, won by Order of the Sleeping Dragon, which was the map choice by Amazing. And now we're going to OSD's map choice, which is Volsky Foundry. We're going to have a MEI banned out at the start of this. Whew. Do we get the Genji ban again?
I wouldn't be surprised about the Benji, not the Benji ban, the Genji ban. And absolutely we do. Not gonna have to worry about that constant poke, that dive. So what do we have for first pick on the side of Amazing is really going to, I think, start telling the story of how this game is gonna go. Do you think they're gonna potentially, what was their first picks last game? They picked, as I'm totally blanking, they picked Diablo, right?
First pick on the side of
Amazing.
There was Diablo Junkrat.
Yes.
And so that's how they opened up their draft. And then because I think the opposing team started with the Dahaka.
Yeah, you are correct. I wonder if they'll want to potentially pull that global away, or some kind of global. Probably not. I would be content with them picking up the Diablo again, and then letting OSD kind of show a bit more of their cards first before they plan things out. They're gonna pick the Jaina first pick. We're back to first pick Jaina. Yes.
It's a high priority onto the mage, but the poke damage that can come out from Jaina, the stacked damage from just anyone who gets locked into one position. So look to maybe see some sort of priority onto maybe peeling a member away, locking one down, just getting that raw, like just that burst onto one person. As the Carbot song goes, you know, Jaina the Frost Mage, as bursty as she can be. But this 1-2 pick before they have a ban phase here, OSD. I honestly think I personally I always like starting it out with tank healer. It doesn't show too much of your composition. You can lock in 2 assets that are really good, and then you maybe flex your draft around there. That is a more of responsive draft rather than kind of going for specific things. Overall, though, I personally like it when teams go into the brawly nature. I think the Diablo would be great, and then maybe you pick up a Greymane or a Hanzo. The vision provided from Hanzo is great, but it's actually going to be...
Your Greymane and Phoenix. Hello. I was going to say I was really hoping they would take the Stukov away before they can, before Amazing could do the matchup with Stukov and Jaina, which they're not going to grab now. Let's talk a bit more about the Greymane Phoenix combination specifically. How are you feeling about that?
It's the dive, the blow up, I think is great. Phoenix has mobility, Greymane has mobility. You've got range, and also I wouldn't say melee, but the plasma cutter, the different ranges with it can kind of be utilized in that melee range if needed. At this point, though, the Stukov, you're going to have that silence. I think this is just going to be set up. I personally take the ETC now. Ring of Frost, Mosh Pit. Silence underneath it. It's a strong start to your draft. If you don't take it now, I feel like it will be banned out. But
instead, they're going to forge a great alliance.
They're going for the single target. They're going for just single target.
Interesting. If you're Order of the Sleeping Dragon, what are you thinking to ban in this situation?
They've got
Go ahead. I'm still formulating my thoughts.
They've got their Jaina. So they've got some poke and they've got some damage. They've got Stukov for lockdown variants. So okay, they're going. So that kind of, I mean, Commandeer Odin is a great sieging and anti-sieging tool. I honestly see it on this map quite a bit, and I think it's a huge asset for that team. That also maybe means that they're going to be going into a double warrior composition. Something beefier for that solo lane. Maybe the blaze for themselves to kind of mitigate the fight. Like the great thing about a bunker midway through a fight is it's a pause. Like you jump into the bunker, they have to burn down the bunker, and meanwhile you pop out with shields and you have some of your cooldowns coming back during that time. It's a couple seconds, but it's a buffer. You get a nice shield, and then you can go back into that fight with a little bit extra power, or at least strength. But in this situation, they do ban out the Diablo on the side of Amazing, and I think that's great. I think it would have worked with their composition, the dive from Greymane as well as the Phoenix. So far, I think both teams are drafting very, very well. I just really got to see how these last couple picks shape up for both teams.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who OSD's tank will be. And I know totally different teams, but we saw an Anubarak come out earlier this evening. Do we see a pick like that that can burrow under, do that type of engage, possibly isolate, with the Cocoon, other members of Amazing, instead of that Diablo for that initiation? What are your thoughts?
I like the idea of that. The single target web rep is really good to shut things down. For example, Stukov. I mean, no Pushto to heal. I think that's great. But Joanna for the blinds, as well as the condemned to pull them in the slow from her Q, and then Deckard Cain just spreading potions out. Lornado is great, as well as the stay a while and listen, and stay a while and listen, some blessed shield, some planet cracker. I think there's a lot of good tools for the members of OSD here in the team fight department here, but we have to see what they're going to be picking up for their solo lane and what other sort of damage they're going to be grabbing on the side of Amazing to round out this fight. Yo, Swoop, thank you for those bits.
Manby is cute. It is known.
Grandpa Nexus. I do like, I know some folks aren't really big fans of his root and his slow, but given, again, the nature of teams being in really close quarters, I think both of those are fantastic to have in your pocket just to add a little bit more harassment. Deckard, other than those and healing, he has not for any type of damage, given that he's a bit more melee. Illidan Abathur rounding out Amazing's team. Whoo! Abathur clone on the Illidan? Are we thinking?
I mean, it's...
Probably not. I would actually assume possibly a double variant. Just to give a bit more
double oof. You get double Illidan, and you take that clone and you dive onto that backline and you just push into Deckard and just peel. Like, double Illidan, not fun to deal with. Even then, double Jaina. I think it's either going to be the double Jaina, double Illidan. It depends on how they want to dive this, how much damage they want to get. The other thing to note as well, Abathur with Jaina, when you the Abathur clone actually benefits from the stacking damage from Jaina's, the real Jaina, if you will. So if they're already damaged and they've got some cold damage on them, the clone will benefit from that that extra bonus. So that is something to note, and that's a huge benefit for them. But this last pick, they're going to need a solo lane into all of this, and it's going to be that Blaze. And I think that maybe was a little bit showy from that Tychus. They were going to go for two stronger, beefier tanks, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though Odin is really against the Protectors, I think that's why I was a bit surprised by the Tychus ban. Just because it made it very, I guess, in my opinion, obvious that they would draft two extraordinarily heavy tanks like that, but it is what it is. I am just not, no pun intended, truly amazed of Amazing's drafts. I can't remember the last time I saw a solo tank variant, so that'll be a treat to watch. But I'm also curious of how this Deckard plays out. The potions have so much potential in this scenario. You have all your team members with you anyway. You're just checking those out left and right. Whew. This is going to be another hot one for sure. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Let's get into this as we get into game number 2. OSD up one game with Trinth going to be on the Deckard Cain, Woven going to be on the Greymane, Silent Shoe going to be on the Phoenix, Radiant going to be on the Joanna, and Corgi Booty rounding it out on that Blaze.
And in the red, Nukes for Kids playing the Varian, Lasai playing the Jaina, Kaizen on Abathur, HZE on Illidan, Litinex on Stukov. Team Amazing.
Let's get into this as we have the Illidan already going down into the bottom lane, as it looks like, they're going to be just kind of poking out, just setting up. That's it. Like, no, I was like, where's the dive? Where's the fight? Give this to me. I'm ready for this game just to pop off right away. But that's not going to be it, as Deckard Cain just getting this lane prepped, and they'll have the minion wave crash here. And we're going to see just starting out rotations between the two. trying to just look and see if there's anything too out of the ordinary, and it doesn't really look like it, except the stacking of the Lion's Maw on 1 for the Varian.
Yeah, I'm going to be very curious to see how much Deckard is spending time going between lanes and prepping them all, or how much he's going to end up focusing the main group on Team OSD. I've seen combinations of the two. I don't think anyone is really set on one way or the other at this point. It'll be extraordinarily beneficial to whoever is going to be matching up against Illidan when Illidan is in the solo lane. So we're going to have to see where that ends up bringing this in this match. Corgi Booty Woven grabbing the fortification camp. Camps being extraordinarily important in this matchup. It's amazing how much little extra bits of damage can do. So both these teams making sure they have those turrets prepared for whenever point A is ready for capture.
And yeah, sorry, they're rotate. I was just thinking of a game I saw last night, and it just stuck with me. I watched as one team used 2 turrets to get 1 turret, and it just it just popped in my head just now as you were talking about the fortification camps, and I was just like, oh yeah, I watched that happen last night. Why? But we actually have a little bit of a brawl over the support camp right now, as it looks like they're trying to capture it on the side of Amazing. OSD trying to stay on this point, but the sounds will be out from the Stukov. This is not where you want your Joanna, but it will be interrupted at this time, as they are going to be getting a bunch of damage on the nukes for kids. That will be the Varian falling here, as well as the Illidan. Support camp going over in favor for OSD, and they continue to prep their lanes and get ready for the first Triglaw Protector.
Stukov tried so hard to keep his team members alive. You saw the last minute pustules pop on Nukes for Kids, but it wasn't enough. And that is, especially with an Abathur on your team, I think, losing people early on is not necessarily the best morale booster. And so, I think that Amazing is going to have to maybe not be as aggressive, or maybe they can be with the taunt over on Greymane ends up going down. But having safer picks like that, rather than fighting over those camps, as important as they are, it's more important to keep your team members alive. So rather than fight over a camp, wait for someone to get out of position, allow your team to excel on those isolated picks at first, until the rest of your composition comes online. And
that's the thing, is they got their taunt, and that was one of the things that I think they were looking for in their composition, to just come online for that, because now they have that single target lockdown where Jaina can just dump all the snow. We have the taunt actually going out at this time, and that will be exactly what happens as they get the kill onto Joanna, grabbing this point over, and that will be Amazing, holding this point. And they're going to just go ahead and rotate out a little bit here, make sure they soak up and they don't lose out, because OSD is approaching those 7s, and maybe, well, actually, I wouldn't say maybe, but once they hit that level 7, look to see them exploit that as best as they can.
Yeah, I mean, they ended up losing to the heal pack camp earlier, and, instead of taking the camp, just kill the Johanna holding the pack, and that's how you get it. So, different strats to get to the same end, as Amazing continues to hold this point extremely strongly. We see Abathur soaking a little bit in the top lane as this is all going on, when it's a bit safe for him. Lasai getting a little bit out of position, getting stunned by Corgi Booty, and that is a pick on the side of OSD, and they're going to reclaim this point for themselves.
That is a great pick, because now they will be able to push them off. 82% on the side of Amazing's just charge here, as Abathur is going to be trying to push out this top lane as best they can, actually pushing back the camp, not getting too much value in that lane. And overall at this point, we have the fortification camps being just rotated by the two teams. They're setting up for another big fight. Look to see them just kind of group back up. Jaina will be rotating in at this time. A lot of these fights are going to be difficult for the members of Amazing pre-10, but here's the thing, now that camp's clear, this is where Abathur shines. You can already see on the minimap that they're pushing up. As long as Amazing delays this out, it is a benefit for them, so long as OSD does not get the Triglaw Protector, but Radiant going to be taunted here, getting pulled away into the silence as well. That will be the Joanna falling, as HZE getting out with just barely any health. That will be the overtime on the point, as HZE going to be diving in. Going to get the Abathur hat, going to be able to back right out of there, as Abathur body soaking that top lane, going to be soaking up so much experience. Also probably having another lane pushing that up, but we have a stun going to be going on into Lasai. That could be devastating, as it looks like we have the dive in from Greymane, but that is going to be a kill in response, and they continue to hold this back and forth. Silent Shoe not going to be able to get out on that Phoenix, and that is going to be overtime canceled. This is going to be going over in favor for Amazing.
Both teams just going back and forth in that one. The healing pack, you know, showing the benefit in that team fight on the side of Amazing, being able to throw that down with that allowed Stukov just to throw down Lurking Arm as long as possible. Grandpa Nexus falls, says, I don't want to take care of you anymore, fam. We have the Triglav Protector on the side of Amazing. Hopefully they're, you know, I'm assuming aiming to get down at least this first gate. We'll see how much damage they're able to put onto the fort in the mid lane. However, OSD getting prepared to defend, and the Protector is going to rotate up top.
And I like this. This is I would say, I guess, the standard play. You open up the mid lane gate, and then you rotate top. You take out the gate and the well. You take out this well, and you make the next point so much harder to get on, as we actually have some poke damage coming out from the Triglav and that silence. They're slowing so many members. But now when point B opens up, the members of OSD are going to have a harder time trying to get on this control point because their path of retreat is a little bit further back, as it looks like they are going to be actually poking on a couple of the members here, and that will be actually Abathur falling in the bottom lane to Blaze. It looks like they go ahead and they back off once they lose their Abathur.
That is extraordinarily dangerous now for Amazing. Abathur luckily already had used his clone, and so that's not necessarily an loss by that death. But having an Abathur picked off is not anything that any team wants, because now, you know, Abathur probably going to be extremely nervous to maybe push out lanes, you know, farther out than they're used to. So we'll have to see how Kaizen's playstyle ends up changing for the rest of this game. Both teams, or just the side of Amazing, again, grabbing their fortification camp. And now that both teams have their heroics and there is no capture point, we're just going to see if someone's trying to catch the other out of position. And we got a team fight in mid.
And it's going to be going back and forth. We actually have... Joanna was trying to, like, walk in and just like, I'm going to come for you, I'm going to come for you. And then they just basically backed off here. So... Start of a team fight, little, you know, just throwing some abilities at each other. Meanwhile, though, Abathur pressuring that top lane a little bit further. But Amazing wants to take this fight while they're kind of on their heels a little bit here. They're going to invade onto this fortification camp. There is going to be the meme beam hitting too, but they get right out of the way here, as it looks like they are going to be falling a little bit low. Blaze in that backline, HCE going to be the first one to fall, but they get a response kill onto the Joanna. The Jaina will be falling on top of that as well. Corgi Booty, ooh, the clone going to be falling now. Flailing Swipe going to knock a couple members back. The charge is going to go back in, get the double stun onto two of these members. They get the slow as well into Litnix, as well as Nukes for Kids, and that will be just about a full team wipe, as Abathur will be pressuring that top lane, but they lose 4 members.
Woven popping off on that Greymane, just diving right in, saying, I don't care about your turret that you placed down on our camp that you're trying to steal. I'm going to make sure that you end up being punished for trying to take our camp, and they do. You cannot underestimate the power of that dive, of that Greymane, and what he is able to do. Members of Amazing, after all those deaths, now coming back to reset. They're going to, you know, try to see what they can capture now in the downtime before the next phase where capture point B will be available. Now finally hitting 13, both teams again on equal talents for this next fight, so it should be another very hot one.
Yeah, they're creating pressure in this lane with the camp. They're getting the clear here. It's 13 to 13, as you noted, so it's even talent tiers. They have all the heroics available just about. We have Planet Cracker, a couple seconds off cooldown. Overall, I mean, these teams, I think they're going to be looking to just posture up. They're managing their waves, and they're just trying to do the best they can. But here's the thing, and I said it on the last point, this is a map where the longer you take on these control points, the better it is for Abathur. This means that once, you know, they see Blaze and the rest of the team up there, Abathur should be moving out from behind the fort, definitely getting a lot more pressure in the lane than can Hat Soak another, pushing them further, faster, and then taking that advantage even further into this matchup. Posture going to be going out. They're prepping for this fight, Cat Peach. Let's just see if they're able to move in.
Yeah, we see Dark Arcane throwing down those potions. Was able to take the talent that gives more healing, so long as the potions stay in place for at least 2 seconds. Nukes for Kids trying to poke as much as possible, but this is going to flip over initially to OSC. We'll have to see if Amazing is able to do something about that. They're going to go onto the point as the members of OSC do pack out. The Planet Cracker comes out, dividing Amazing in half. The Flailing Swipe as well Decker Kane tries to put someone to sleep, but ends up going to sleep himself instead.
And actually, we have the bunker coming out at this time. Corgi Booty going to be jumping in and out, but I don't think that'll be enough. That armor was helping them for a couple seconds there, but it looks like they want to go ahead and chase a couple members. Taunt goes out, and that is going to be the Greymane falling as Silent Shoe and Ridian going to be able to get out of here. But at this time, Lasai will be able to jump onto this point. OSD going to be pushed back, losing 3 members. Meanwhile, though, this is exactly it. This is what Abathur wants. You can see the lane is starting to get pressured more and more in this bottom here, as we did have the Illidan working down mid, and we also have that support camp going to be grabbed for that extra buff, as they probably going to be looking to siege in with this next Trigluff quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, that last fight was, as you were talking about before, masterclass in how you can help Abathur get that level lead by allowing him to soak, by prolonging those fights a bit. Amazing could have done the safe thing and said, listen, OC is starting to back out. We don't have to get any more kills, but kills for the experience there, but also gave Abathur a bit more time to hang out in that bottom lane. Now puts them at level 16 before their opponents.
At this point, though, 16 advantage. I wonder if they're going to go ahead and invade onto this camp. Nope. It looks like with the Trigluff, that won't allow them to be able to grab it. And so 16 advantage and the Trigluff Protector in their favor. We do have Lasai getting caught up by a couple members here. There will be the slow from Decker Kane, Flailing Swipe going to be saving them. There also will be the healing and hat from Abathur and Stukov. It looks like they just continue to poke out here with the Water Elemental. And meanwhile, though, top lane, they're allowing this Trigluff just to do work. And personally, this thing is getting a lot of value without the members burning it down.
Yeah, they're gonna have to rotate, and they are, but I think initially ignoring it, possibly not the best call. It's definitely a position where I can see OSC starting to get anxious about, they were trying to get that level 16, which they now have. Which is obviously a great example, but when you're starting to lose out on your structures, you have to balance that, and dedicating so many team members to simply just soaking to get that 16, I don't think was necessarily the best call, but they are now responding to it very well, as the Protector is almost down, and hopefully at that point, we're going to see if Amazing wants to throw down some fisticuffs with OSD.
The way they're rotating out, it does not look like it. They're just trying to back off, as we actually have Decker Kane trying to get onto this. We actually have Corgi Booty trying to flank into here. The bunker will be coming down. Gonna have to back off here. There also was the Planet Cracker at the same time. Rest of the team rotating around. The healing circle will be coming down in favor for the members of Amazing. There is going to be the charge in from the Illidan with onto Decker Kane, but that will be the stay a while and listen. Illidan standing still way too long, going to get popped here. Woven very low, gonna get healed up as best as they can. Gonna get the disengaged roll there. The silence will be underneath onto a couple members. Woven so extremely low. That will be another kill in favor for Order of the Sleeping Dragon. They continue to work onto nukes for kids, as Varian does not have too much, and actually leading them right to Abathur. This could be a little risky here if they continue to chase. Won't be happening.
Now they're starting to back up. That was a very dangerous move by Nukes for Kids. Obviously, you want to stay alive, but right into the Abathur is really dangerous.
The other thing I want to note too is I was talking about this with Dunkstick last night, and we actually, I think, did this together, or he was telling me that he did it with someone else. Basically, when you go up against an Abathur and you have Planet Cracker, all you need to know is where the Abathur is. You cannot unhat and move out of a Planet Cracker fast enough. So you can one-shot him every single time, and that is not the case here, as we do have a little bit of a dive onto Nukes for Kid in this bottom lane. They want to push down this bottom quite a bit, and this is the one thing I also wanted to note during that last Triglaw Protector phase. Amazing didn't utilize that to open up bottom, which is the C point, which would allow them to have the same kind of pressure they had in top lane during that B point. So I'm curious as to the reasoning for that play, but either way, bottom lane will be opened up in favor for Order of the Sleeping Dragon, as Woven might get caught out here.
Ooh, Woven going into wolf form, but not able to get out, as HCE decides to dive right on top of him, and now going after Corgi Booty. Bunker does come out, HCZ getting very, very low. The flail comes out from Stukov, which happens to make everyone get out of the way of that Planet Cracker. Amazing going in, seeing what they can capitalize, but I think that might have been a mistake. Their health bars are really low. And we're going to have to see if there's anything that OSC can do about this push. They are going to back up a bit. 4 team members on each side in this mid lane, although with Woven being, still on cooldown for revival, not committing as much. We are going to have a pause here Deep breath for everybody. I love how there was a moment where OSD did make up levels to Amazing, but it seemed they lost that very quickly. They're not terribly far behind. It's not a 2-level lead or anything, but they do have to be cautious that Amazing will hit 20 before them and try to plan around that accordingly.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're going to be having 20. The capture point in bottom lane is opening up. I gotta say, there are a lot of these fights over these control points that are really, really going over in favor for the members of Amazing, and I'm a little worried with having that 20 advantage. That might be the same kind of situation where they might just be able to force Order of the Sleeping Dragon off the point. And, you know, for it being this late into the game, definitely got to say that it is getting really, really powerful here. But it looks like both R's are ready, or both teams are ready. If you want to go ahead and get us back into this. All right.
Kaboom, there we go. What are your thoughts so far on the execution of Stay a While and Listen? Because it seems like there might be a bit of, I don't know if it's miscommunication or what is it, that it doesn't seem to be getting all that much value. They might be able to trap a lot of folks, but with things like the Planet Cracker, not really able to hit too many members. They actually haven't been able to land Planet Cracker, in my opinion, to the best of its ability. So what are your thoughts on what they're doing with Stay a While and Listen, and how do they maybe start using it for the rest of this game?
I mean, at this point, it's been utilized as a lot of, almost as, I wouldn't say a disengage tool, but it's just kind of like a stall, just trying to get a couple members stalled out so they can focus down someone else who's attacking them. And I like it in that aspect, but it's not been landing, I think, in the way that they're intending it for. The Planet Cracker, I've seen it being used quite a bit, actually just forcing the Stukov to kind of back off, also leave the lurking arm, but at the same time, once that's down, they know that's down, so they can really kind of play into the fact that there is no Planet Cracker. Stukov just goes, repositions, and goes right back into the silence again. So I would like to maybe see it utilized in some sort of, I personally say, if you can get vision on that Abathur, just blow him up with it. But at this point, there's nothing to really kind of find that vision for the friendly team, especially with the lanes pretty well, you know, kept for the members of Amazing here. And it looks like OSD, they're going to have to go ahead and give this over because they do not have 20. They might be able to rotate down in time, but I think they're going to go ahead. They're going to take the fort in top lane, or at least the front gate in top lane, get 20s, and prepare themselves for the incoming invasion of the C Point Triglav Protector.
Yeah, both teams trading top and bottom lanes respectively, although OSD is in a bit more of a desperate position. Although now with 20, they're at least at equal footing, but have to rotate very quickly to go deal with what is about to happen with this Triglav Protector. The rest of the team of Amazing now meeting back up at that Protector, and we should expect quite a push now with the power scaling that this has on this map. So what do you think at minimum Amazing is looking to get out of this push?
Minimum, they can go for a keep. It's really how quickly the members of Order of the Sleeping Dragon can burn down the Triglav Protector, and the way they're playing it right now, they're going to get a lot of poke value from this. Abathur, meanwhile, in top lane will continue to pressure that out as best as they can. I'm going to play it a little bit further back, actually going to go ahead and clone the Janet this time, so they're going to be looking to siege in. Triglav Protector going to dive in as well. There will be the root coming out from the Deckard Cain, and that is going to be the clone ending. Abathur is going to be moving up in that top lane to pressure further, but at this point, I think the members of Order of the Sleeping Dragon will be able to defend this and just kind of zone them back. They've turtled up very, very well. They've got the 20 advantage, or the even talent here, so they can't really pressure up too much. They are going to get some damage out here onto Silent Shoe, but just stepping up and kind of having to back off right away. Cat Peach, I think they back off, and this is going to be another reset till the next Triglav Protector.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what happens in between. They're not backing off entirely. We'll have to see what happens when Illidan and Varian both pop out of that Protector. Abathur does have clone available, and so perhaps we're going to see another immediate initiation with the clone on the Illidan and diving right in to the members of OSD. Or they'll play it safe and wait for another capture point to spawn rather than do that and instead get pressure other places on the map. I expect they're maybe hungry to get a keep soon, extremely soon. None have fallen yet, and we are 19 minutes into the game, so not entirely unheard of, but there is definitely a risk, and we're going to see them kind of rotate down to the bottom, clear out this bottom minion wave, and perhaps they do go after the keep. Can they get it down?
They're going to be... It pulls the members of Amazing out of that top lane, which I'm not sure about the play at this point. Could be it could have been a little risky as they are going to be going ahead and getting the Planet Cracker. Lasai is going to have so much damage, but the Ice Block will be out in time. Planet Cracker not getting a lot of the what they're looking for here, as that will be a huge sleep coming out from Trent there, but they instantly get interrupted by the laser cutter from the Phoenix. Root going to be going out from the Deckard Cain, but actually going to be falling. Flailing Sweat going to be coming out. Silent Shoe going to be taking quite a bit of damage as Phoenix will be falling here. Joanna going to be the next one to go, and Woven going to be chased down here a little bit. Going to be able to just retreat to the keep, but Corgi Booty going to be boosting out of here on that conveyor belt.
Corgi Booty looking behind and saying, absolutely not, and going the long way back home. 3 members down on the side of Order of the Sleeping Dragon, and this is going to be the first keep of the game going down in favor of Amazing. And at this point, you know, there are no more talents to gain. There are simply levels. And it looks like Amazing might say, then that means we're just going to go for the core right now. We know you have 3 members down, and see how much damage we can put on it.
They're trying to move on to Lasai as well, onto the Stukov, but the silence and the taunt will be enough, and this is going to be the rest of the members starting to work onto this core. There will be the hunt coming out from the Illidan, and it looks like the bunker comes out, and that will be game number 2 going over to Amazing. They will tie this series up 1-1 in games. GG, well played. Wait,
Wait,
did I speak too soon?
There
That's
it
going to
goes.
be the core fire.
That would have been
GG,
the
well
best
played.
caster curse of all time.